Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Stamp With Me. Today I have another base page to share with you guys that I made for a gift album, and it's just super simple way to use up supplies in a new way and work with color schemes I don't work with normally. And for this particular page I end up going with the Joie de Vivre paper pad from DCWV and pulling out these two matching papers, which are white backgrounds with gold foil pineapples, which seemingly look easy to use, but you'll see as this transforms with the color scheme that it is just going to be very, very, very unique and something I usually don't go for. The second color that I picked out was this polka dot, sort of like jadeite green mixed with like even a lighter teal version. And since it won't fit in my trimmer to cut diagonally on a 12-inch paper, I decided to hand cut it. Now, was it the best cut? No, it was not. Should I have folded the paper? No, I shouldn't have. So don't do that if you are trying to cut a paper diagonal. You're probably better off drawing a line and then following it versus what I did. So now we got some wonkiness there, but I intended on covering that up with my photos anyhow. So when it came to these base pages, I wanted to make sure that the photo slots that I had were also a color that could work, because if you give someone a gift album, if you give them somewhere to put their photos, what I've realized over the years is sometimes, depending on where you get your photos printed, they won't be true 4x6. So while these are 4x6 placeholders, I also wanted to make sure I picked a color that would coordinate in case they print slightly smaller, which is a typical phone format photo taken is slightly smaller than a 4x6. So be sure to keep an eye out for that if you don't have the photos for the gift album you're making this holiday season. Here you'll see me do what I thought was a grand idea to help hide my terrible line, and I used washi tape to cover it. Now you guys just saw where I placed my photos, so why did I need to cover a line that was already covered up by my photo placeholders? Therefore the photos would cover it. So I used up a bunch of washi tape I didn't have to use. I could have just put it on the corners where it's still visible in the end rather than the entire thing, but this washi tape is kind of going bad, I think, so I didn't mind using a bit of it here to cover up just the edges, even though I cover it all up with these placeholders anyway. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check out the other participants with this episode of Stamp With Me, link down below. You know that some of you guys are getting stamps for Christmas this year, and I know some of you guys are getting stamps for your birthday, for your anniversary, whatever you're getting stamps for. If you're buying them for yourself, if you're getting them as gifts, make sure you subscribe so you can see all of the wonderful Stamp With Me participants and how we use our stamps on our pages. Here's where I start pulling out the embellishments for this wonderful page. Now, if any of you guys might be getting the same vibes I am right now from this color scheme, we've got this beautiful green there that I picked out in the middle of those diagonal pieces that we had trimmed. Then I have this sort of magenta color I pulled out. And if you think of the colors magenta and a deep green, you'll think Barney. Did I mean to do a Barney layout? No, I did not. Is it still really pretty colors? And even though they might make you think of something else, doesn't mean you can't use them? Correct. You can use whatever colors you want. You could do a red and green layout that's not about Christmas. You can do orange and green that's not about Halloween. There's lots of different ways we can continue to use these wonderful and beautiful color schemes that you might know and love from other things that might be associated with other things for different stories. And as I said before, this is a Stamp With Me page, so we get to dive right into the actual Stamp With Me process. And I've pulled out my lovely Wild Whisper capital letter stamps, and I am so thankful that I have this stamp set. It is just, I love the font of it. I like that it's hand lettered but not a script, because I have some script fonts that I think are hard to stamp with because you have to connect the letters together for it to actually look like it's handwritten, whereas these look like they could have been drawn on, although they are, you know, perfect. So you'll see here what I end up doing is measuring out strips of this yellow and white pineapple paper. No gold foil on this one, it's a light yellow printed. So same as the background that we had picked out earlier, just with a white. Guys, do you know how to spell the words that I'm doing here? So you might be able to guess the title, right? So it says, let the good blank, let the good times roll. As you can tell from the title of this video, I decided to do let the good times roll as my title. And I just make these sort of placeholders for now, and we'll have to measure them out later so we can get this cool banner effect. But I think we often forget about different ways we can utilize our stamps. And here is where I try to spell the word roll, but I put 2 O's. I don't know how to spell at this point, apparently. So I end up fixing it with the 2 L's instead. And here's where I get this idea from. A lot of us use our alphabet stamps either directly on the layout, whether it's a white background, whatever, just directly on the layout, or on this banner type. But I thought it'd be unusual and different to try to do a banner that spans 2 pages and has this cute little matching fishtail on each side. And like I've said in previous videos for this particular album, it's a D-ring album, so these aren't directly next to each other. But this would look so good in a actual post-bound album where the pages will be smack dab next to each other. And I think it just really turned out really well, despite, you know, me spelling some things incorrectly at first. But I just add some simple clusters to finish off this base page with some embellishments. I add a quick strip of washi tape under here to help the florals. And these are just some Paige Evans florals I've had for a bit. I don't think I own anything else from this collection, so using these Barney colors inspired from Paige's line as well, to really just create somewhere for fun photos to live. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've ever worked with this color scheme before, but it is darn cute, and I'm so glad that I did. And I don't think I would have naturally pulled these together, but sometimes when you pull colors together on your own, you'll start seeing that color pairing elsewhere because you kind of were already influenced by seeing it elsewhere. So knowing that the Paige Evans florals actually had these colors in it might have subconsciously planted in my mind that I should eventually use those colors. But man, oh man, does it read Barney sometimes, you know, guys. But don't be afraid to try different color schemes, even if you don't think it'll work well, even if you think it might be just a different memory, it might not coincide with what you're trying to, just try it. What's the worst that could happen, right? So here's where I start the final embellishment touches, and what I've really loved doing on these base pages is using up things I wouldn't normally use. So we did a unique color scheme that I wouldn't have done before. I did a long title, which I don't normally do, especially a stamped version. And here we're back with our sequin clusters. I think these are so much fun to do, and a huge shout out to Sandy again. Sandy Reversky is the one who got me onto these. I saw them in her video, and I was determined to do them, and I've done a ton of them this past month when I worked on my gift album here. They do take me a bit of time because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to liquid glue. I don't like glue sitting out, so I want to make sure it's all covered. And the sequin mixes I picked out in this particular instance didn't have too many small ones, so it was hard to get all the big ones to fit on this sector of the glue that I had put down. But you'll see me using my tweezers to push them into place. And I do 2 of these sequin clusters, and then I use the butterfly sequins from the Spiegelmom Scraps mix to just add little extra pops of pink at the top. Because when you work on base pages, you might not know the theme, but you know they'd be good memories. You know that cameras work with all memories, and florals and butterflies can work with all memories. So just doing things that are a little bit normal, a little bit everyday, but still fun. There's nothing that doesn't go with butterflies. There's nothing that doesn't go with flowers. You could have hard rock concert photos here. You can make it work, I promise. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, be sure to check out the other process videos that'll be linked down below from the other wonderful participants in Stamp With Me this week. And if you did enjoy, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see more of my process videos. But I do really love how this turned out, despite this color scheme reminding me of Barney so very much. But here are the upcoming close-ups. Again, lots of sequins used. Lots of fun with that stamped title too. I just like how it turned out, and I wish it was my layout, but I'm sending it off to a good home. But if you guys did enjoy, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them. But thanks for joining for another episode of Stamp With Me, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye guys!